And welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, April 11th. Mrs. Pazerski, if you could please call the roll. Here. So Mr. Greer is running late tonight, and Ms. Brait is unable to join us due to a conflict. So we do have a quorum, and we'll move forward with the meeting. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please also join me for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, this is once a year we do, by law, have to hold a meeting, a public hearing on school choice. So I would now invite anybody who wishes to speak on the issue of school choice. Do I need a vote to enter into that, Mr. Grantino? Okay. So I'll first accept a motion from the committee to enter into the hearing on school choice. Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Boyd. Why don't we do a roll call there, Mrs. Pazerski? Yes, that's a 3-0-0. We now invite anybody who wishes to speak about school choice to the microphone. Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to close the school choice hearing? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Boyd. That's a roll call again there, Mrs. Pazerski. Yes, thank you. Before we get into our regular meeting, I have two items of business before we start the Spotlight on Excellence. First, I'd like to just ask for a very quick moment of silence. Maria Medeiros, who is a great employee of Marshfield Public Schools, works in the office at Marshfield High School, very sadly and tragically lost her daughter last week. Her daughter, Victoria Medeiros, who's Victoria Oman, she is her husband, Mike. Victoria was 31 years old and fought ovarian cancer for about 5 years. And we'd like to just take a quick moment of silence to keep Maria and the entire Medeiros family, Vicky's husband, Mike, in our thoughts and prayers at this time. Thank you very much. I would encourage anybody who knows Maria or any member of the Medeiros family to take a look. The Friends of Music is starting a scholarship in Victoria's name. She was quite a talented musician, a member of the class of 2009, so they are starting a memorial scholarship for Victoria Medeiros, and I would encourage you to support that if you are able. Our second item before we start with our Spotlight on Excellence is that we have a member of this committee who is leaving us, and this is her last meeting after 2 terms and 6 years as a member of the Marshfield School Committee. Ms. Bridget Boyd has done just a fantastic job, always putting students first. I'd like to ask some folks on the committee if they have anything they'd like to share for Bridget, but I do have a couple of things that I'd like to pass along to Bridget from some folks who wanted to recognize her outstanding service for the last 6 years. But first of all, Bridget, I just want to say how much of a joy it's been working with you, learning from you, and most importantly, being able to call you my friend. And just as importantly as that, getting to know your 3 wonderful kids through youth and government, who you should be, and I know you are, so very proud of. You have done so much, and you've been such a steady voice of reason, and you've provided such outstanding leadership on this committee. I think you've been vice chair for 5 of the 6 years you've been on the committee, which is just a whole other responsibility that you've taken on, but you've done it gladly because you care so deeply about public education. And that's evident not just in your time here, but in your time before and during your time on the school committee, where you've worked so hard with the Marshfield Education Foundation and everything else you're involved with around town. We're really going to miss you. It's really bittersweet for us because we know that you're looking forward to some more responsibility with work and some other things, and you've got your last kid graduating this year, and I know you feel it's time for somebody else to step up, but I know I speak for all of us here when I say that we're really going to miss working with you, and that we are all better for having worked with you. We have some other people here. Heidi Church, former member of the school committee who you served with, is here, wants to be here for you. And there's some other folks who wish they could be here, but I told them I'd pass these along. So first of all, this is a certificate of special congressional recognition, proudly presented to Bridget Boyd in recognition of your dedicated service to the school children and families of Marshfield as you step down from the school committee after 6 years of service. It was given the 11th day of April, and it's offered by our United States Congressman William Keating. So I'll pass that over to you there. And I have another one here. This is also a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Bridget Boyd in recognition of your dedicated community and public service promoting educational excellence for the Marshfield Public School System for 6 years. This was offered yesterday by United States Senator Edward Markey. So here's that one as well. And before I open it up to everybody else, I think there's just 3 other people who can say it way better than any of us would be able to say. So we asked them if they would send in a couple videos. And you can imagine that was fun.
First off, happy birthday. I love you. Thank you for everything that you do for me. And also, thank you for everything that you've done to the Marshfield Public Schools. I really appreciate everything.
Hi. As your 6-year tenure on Marshfield School Committee comes to an end today, I wanted to take a few moments to express how proud I am of you. I'm so impressed that you were able to juggle your job with the school committee meetings every other Tuesday, as well as making sure that there was a hot meal prepared for me, my brother, and sister at home. I remember holding signs for you at the polls when you were first started running and seeing how eager you were to make a difference for our school district. As well as volunteering on the school committee, I'm amazed how many events you were able to help out with, from attending long town meetings to volunteering all night at senior night out. You are always willing to help students in the district, inside and outside the classroom. I'm so proud of what you were able to accomplish during the hard times of COVID, keeping everyone on track and safe during a time of uncertainty where it's hard to learn and live normally. After taking some time to talk with your fellow committee members, it is obvious how hard work does not go unnoticed and that you will be a role model for anyone who wants to make a positive difference in Marshfield Public Schools for a long time to come. It's so cool that today is your last meeting on your birthday, and I hope this is a memorable one. Thank you again for all you've done for the Marshfield Public Schools District and the positive impacts you've made.
Congratulations on finishing up your tenure on the school committee. We all really appreciate all the hard work you put in for us and the other students in the district, and you've provided a great example to us on the importance of education and just being involved in the community. And it's something that we're going to hold on to.
So, yes, absolutely. I thought nobody said it better than Owen there at the end, where it's something they're going to hold on to, and it's something we're all going to hold on to as well. So thank you, Bridget. And I want to turn it over before, and just a fair warning, I am going to ask everybody to sing happy birthday to you in a minute. But I want to turn it over to anybody else who has something to say. And I know Mr. Granatino will, and I know some other folks will, but Ms. Stetson, go right ahead. Mm-hmm.
Get away.
Very expensive.
Should have gone before the children's shop. You know, the last meeting you mentioned, you talked about this, I wasn't able to actually compose myself and actually speak words, but I am so going to miss the opportunity to work with you. But it was actually Evie that told me I have no reason to be sad because it's not like you're moving far away and I'm never going to see you again. But I just want to thank you for taking shots at being a truly steady person on the committee, especially during the pandemic. Is there something really special that it was sort of the same group during the last few years, but we're kind of in it together. And I think 10, 20, 30 years down the road, when we all reflect on the pandemic, we'll remember this core group of people that no one quite understands what we experienced except for us. But more than that, again, as Sean said, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I get to call you a friend. And you are someone I look up to as a member of this committee, and you're also someone I look up to as a mom. You've raised 3 amazing kids on your own. And I'm just grateful for you. Happy birthday. I love you.
Anyone else? Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's always key to try not to follow Kendra, because everyone's emotions are running wild here. But I said it before, I'll say it again. Just thank you not only for what you've done for the district and for me as a superintendent, but just for what you've done for people who are your friends, as Kendra said. I mean, I don't look at you as a school committee member, although you are my boss, one of my bosses. You never acted like that. We acted like colleagues. There was respect, there was professionalism, but there was a collegiality that doesn't exist. And I talked to some of my superintendent friends, and they don't have that type of relationship. And I've been blessed to be here in this town and to work with this wonderful committee. But Bridget, I mean, the work we've done has been important for the kids of Marshfield. But I've also been fortunate to have your family, impact my family, and my daughter, is one of Erin's best buds, and vice versa, and that's something pretty special. And again, I know none of my superintendent pals have that relationship, so it's made coming to work a joy, knowing that I have the support of someone like you who cares so much about this town, about this district, about the students and the staff, and you've done everything you can in 6 years. While you juggle work, while you juggle the kids, and it's amazing. And you're an inspiration to others who will follow in your footsteps, and your mark will always be here in Marshfield, and people will remember the time that you served and did all you could for the students of Marshfield. So thank you for everything.
I'd like to ask for a round of applause and thanks to Bridget Boyd.
Cool new banner and take a picture with past members of the committee.
Absolutely. Whatever you want to do, Mr. Granatino.
I got to break this thing in here.
Sure.
Come on over.
Excellent. And then we'll get to the spot.
Meetings are usually like this. Yeah, slide over a little bit to left. There we go.
Bookend, 2 ball pens.
There you go.
And before we move on to the spotlight, just really quickly, please join me in a rousing rendition of Happy Birthday to Miss Boyd. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bridget. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, all right. Thank you for spending your birthday with us. This is a very odd occurrence in that 5 school committee members, 3 of them have birthdays during meetings this year, so that was interesting. All right, so next I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Granatino to introduce our Spotlight on Excellence. Go right ahead.
This is even more positive news and more fun stuff here. We don't get to do this too often. We have 2 state champions from our winter sports season, and we wanted to take a second to be able to come have them down here and recognize them with their families, and it's great to see them here. And we also have our athletic director, Mrs. Battis, who I think he had some training he was doing with the police, and hopefully you're not ill-trained. Hopefully you're like going to pass. We have okay. And because I wanted to have him here as well, and it's just a special time. So we have Cam Pope, who is one of our, and why don't you come on up, Cam and Annie, why don't you guys sit up here and get all embarrassed? This is fun. So Cam is a senior on the swim and dive team, and we have a co-op team with Hanover. And we've done that. How many years have we done that? Second year, okay. And Cam is the Division I 1-meter diving champion, which is pretty darn impressive considering the people that he was up against. And I was looking through some of the stat sheets from the sectionals and from the states, and you had some really strong competition there. So he was the highest. I think your final point total was 499.55. You beat your closest competitor in the finals by 26 points. So it was a pretty strong victory. You were also that day the highest in the preliminary round as well as the semifinal round. So they do 3 rounds of diving before they can crown the champion. And in the sectionals before, he was first in the preliminary round and in the semifinals as well before I think coming in second in the sectionals. But obviously qualified for states and did a fantastic job there, winning the state championship. And then we have Annie Spencer, who's only a sophomore, correct? And she's on a gymnastics team, which won the Patriot League Championship this year. Probably one of the best seasons, I think, in the 8 years I've been here. And Mr. Battis is nodding, so I think I get the stats right there. But we've only been in the Patriot League a few years, but I think even if we were in the old Cape League, I don't know if we had any championship seasons like we had this year. They were dominant. And Annie, I think, came in 5th in the sectionals and then went to the states. And if I'm wrong here, just correct me. Got to the state level and came in 1st in the beam, in the balance beam. So to win the state championship in that individual event, and then went to the New Englands, which were up in New Hampshire, and came in 5th in New Englands. So as a sophomore, won the state championship and 5th in New Englands, and that's pretty darn impressive. So I just wanted to have you guys up here, and you can maybe either if you guys want to ask any questions, or if you guys have anything special you want to talk about as far as your team or the season or the championship, what it was like. Haven't been around 2 state champions like this before, so it's new for me too. So, but just congratulations first and foremost. And when we're done here, we have a little something here from the committee as well that we'll hand out. But what's it like being a state champ?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Now you're a senior. Are you going to continue diving in college?
Yeah, I'm going to Fairfield next year.
Very good, very good. My daughter had a friend who was swimming at Fairfield. She'd be a senior next year, so they have a pretty good swim team.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know if you guys want to tell us anything that you feel is noteworthy, aside obviously from very noteworthy accomplishments, just about your experience, or like what's something interesting that you've learned along the way as you've worked really hard to get to this point?
Well, probably a lot of leadership skills, just from like being a captain senior year. It like puts you in a different perspective of like teaching new kids what's up and everything, and then seeing like your people that you're helping out succeed is a good feeling.
That's awesome.
And I would say like working with the team as well was great, and just even qualifying to go to states was awesome, and then placing was even better than that. And I just loved having like my team by my side the whole time.
So I really want to congratulate you both again, but also just kind of highlight for those watching at home, and obviously those in the audience with proud families. What really strikes me there is that you're here because of individual accolades that you've received, but both of you just talked about the team and what it's like to be part of a team, and what it's like to pass things along to people younger than you, probably look up to you and want to be in that position one day. I think that says a lot about you guys, and you're a really positive reflection of Marshfield Public Schools. So cool that we get to say that we got 2 state champions like that. And I hope you get it again next year and keep working towards that goal. And you guys are awesome. So congratulations. And don't know if anybody else can introduce folks like that.
Congratulations, and thank you for being such a positive and others. I think it's so cool that you have high school athletes that are performing at caliber and it's an all-around aspect to you to make a difference. So thank you for being responsible. Thank you for your community, something to cheer out as well, and for representing my children.
congratulations to your families as well. I mean, clearly a very positive reflection on you folks and the job you've done raising these two fine young students here. It's really impressive. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
How about a round of applause for Stacy?
And we get to break in our banner
Yes,
again.
we do.
Here we go.
Guys,
Here we
we
go,
gotta
round
come
two.
certificates for you, and we'll-
And why don't we bring the families down too?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Popes and the Spencers, come on down. Get our money's worth. We'll get one with that one first, and we'll just go over. Why don't we get it through the order that side? Really test those here. I want to have. Yeah, okay. Congratulations.
Right. Oh, what a great start to the meeting today. This is awesome.
You walk away, right?
That's right.
I know.
That is awesome. We're going to take the student representative report next. Come on forward.
Great. So, just me today.
Just you today.
Just me. So, starting off with the high school, parent-teacher conferences are April 26th. We have the Mamma Mia play is coming up in the beginning of May. We have the music is taking a trip to California. They leave on Thursday and they're there till the 18th. Then going into FBMS, they had their Club 7 for 7th graders. That was March 24th. They have their progress or their term 3 report cards was April 6th. Then for Daniel Webster, they had 5th grade ELA MCAS, which was today. They have their art fair, which is also today with the high school as well. For Amesway School, grade 3 ELA MCAS, March 30th and 31st. Grade 4 ELA MCAS is April 3rd and 6th. Grade 5 ELA MCAS is April 11th and 13th. Then they have grade 3 Instrument Day, which is the 5th. They have a kindergarten field trip to Blake Planetarium, which is April 25th. They have a grade 5 science fair, which is April 27th. Then they have pizza bingo night, which is also April 27th. Then going on to GWS, they have grade 3 instrument presentation day, which is the 6th. And they have their grade 1 performance choose kind, which is on the 14th. They have, or MES has school store, which is this Friday. Then they have their kindergarten screenings are the 27th of April and the 28th as well. Then for SRS, they have a field trip coming up, grade 1, to the Franklin Park Zoo, which is the 28th, so that's after vacation. That's it.
Great. Yeah, lots
Thank
happening.
you.
Thank you. I'll say this for you, and it goes for everybody in the room. The meeting tonight is not exactly riveting. You don't have to feel compelled to stay if you don't want to. We won't be at all offended if you leave at any point. You're more than welcome to stay. Obviously, a public meeting. If it's something that interests you, that would be awesome if you stay, but I'd be surprised. So, thank you very much. Was it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Congrats again. Oh, I would have felt awful if they stayed for the whole agenda. I mean, they're obviously more than welcome to. Okay, moving on now to our informational. We'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Granatino.
All right. Well, Some of this might have already been mentioned, but again, if you haven't had a chance, and I know by the time people see this, it's going to already be over, but the Art and Tech Show, Art and Tech Fair tonight is just amazing. I went through it a little earlier, as did the members over at the high school. The amount of work put in by the students, by the staff, to make it such a special event. It was just so neat to see elementary pieces of art up there against seniors who have been doing this for umpteen years, and then you have the boats that were built and some of the other engineering pieces. It's just really impressive, and the talent that our kids have is just awe-inspiring. I mean, again, someone who does not have a whole lot of art skills, I'm impressed by stick figures, but to see what's up there today was just pretty special, and was already able to get some of it out on social media and share it with some parents who couldn't be there. And it's just it's a nice night, and I wish we could have it every week. It's just really special. Also, I want to congratulate the high school musicians who were on display last week at the spring concerts 1 and 2. As they do every spring, they put on a fantastic show. Quick little note on our hopeful move into the South Shore Regional Vocational Technical High Schools District. Again, we have an article at town meeting in a few weeks that needs to be approved for us to continue to move forward, but we also needed 6 of our 8 would-be partners or current members of the regional district. 6 of the 8 would have to vote in favor of it as well, and they all haven't had town meeting yet, but 2 of them have. I know Abington and Situate have, and they both voted unanimously to allow Marshfield to join the district. So hopefully that trend continues, and we get the support at our town meeting in a few weeks. So be happy to talk about that at the meeting on the 24th. Youth in Government had their annual event at the State House last week. Again, a little smaller than in the past. COVID really did a number on that event. In particular, it impacted a lot of extracurriculars, but over the last few years, the numbers have really gone down to almost 0, and then they're slowly working their way up. And this year, I think the numbers were the highest they've had in the last 2 years, and we had 8 students that did a fantastic job this short period of time. I got to see them and hear about their bills. What was more impressive is just the way they carried themselves amongst themselves with other students from around the state and with adults that we had a chance to be with at lunch, and it was a great showing by our students, regardless of how many students were there. It was special, and Mr. Costello, as always, with his work that he does on his time, on his dime, to oversee that program is really impressive, and you can see the passion he has for it, and the kids pick up that passion, which is really special. And of course, my computer ran out. I'll switch over here. Let's see here. We also we're continuing to move forward with our partnership with Northeastern. We touched briefly on it last meeting that we had signed a MOU, an agreement that we will partner with them. That definition of what the partnership is going to be is still in the works, and we actually had a Zoom call the other day with Ms. Brate, myself, and some folks from Northeastern, as well as Mr. Devaney from the chamber here. Again, this is going to be a school-to-school relationship, but also a town-to-school relationship with the town of Marshfield partnering with Northeastern. But selfishly for us, it gives us a chance to possibly have some of our students taking 4-credit classes at Northeastern while they're here in Marshfield, which is a real special opportunity. Those details are still very much in the infant stage, so we have some meetings. We have one coming up after April break to kind of see what that looks like and what that entails and what we'll have to do, whether it's with Marshfield folks or whether it's with Northeastern folks. So still some work to get done there, but to be able to have that relationship. And the school is already doing things with Quincy College up at the high school where kids are getting some credit for work they do there. But we're looking to ramp it up a little bit with Northeastern, and we're pretty excited about that. And then just briefly, the strategic plan is moving forward. We've been talking about that. We had our focus groups start this week. So yesterday we met with students at the high school. I was really proud of the number of students that came out, and it was a testimony to Mr. Kuther and his team, who went out and spread the word, and the interest came back from the kids. We had 50 students there meeting with the 2 facilitators from TLA who are overseeing the process. I asked how many did they usually get, thinking that it was 30, 40, 50 or more. He said we usually get about 5 to 10 students. So we had 50. So they got an earful of what is working, what's not working, what the opportunities are, and they were all very well spoken. I didn't stay the whole time because I didn't want them to think I was hanging over their shoulder, but they did a nice job. Our leadership team, central office team, got to meet with them as well. Then we had some teachers at the elementary level who came in the afternoon and met with the team, and then at night we had about 15 to 20 parents that met with them as well. And then they have 2 more 2 more on Thursday with the secondary teachers as well as the school committee. And again, what they do with that information is just kind of take down all the things. And again, if you've heard the term SWOT analysis, and we did that in our last plan, where we look at the strengths, the weaknesses, and the opportunities, and they'll put that, they'll kind of shrink it all down into a usable format where we can look at what's going well, but where do we need to make some improvements, and where are the opportunities within the district or the community. So that will help jumpstart the work we start doing with our steering committee, which is being put together now. We sent out invitations this week for that, and we're getting a lot of feedback from parents and staff who are interested in being on that team. And we'll have that wrapped up probably by the end of this week, and they start up April 27th. So there'll be 6 sessions from April 27th to June 12th. And I think we have a parent back here who works in a nearby district, and they went through the same process about a year ago. Was it a year or 2 ago? With the same folks, and they had a really good process over there, and a lot of the things that they've done in previous districts they're doing with us. So it's just a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of good positive feedback, and again some constructive criticism as well on things that we can work on, which is always important. That's what this process is for, how we can get better, and it's getting off to a great start, and we're really excited. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And before I go on to Dr. Martin, I just really quickly want to say, you come to Youth in Government every year, and I appreciate that. And not only you, but Bob Kuther comes every year as well, literally since I think Marshfield started, but even before that when he was at Quincy, so over 20 years ago. So it was really cool to see at the program this year. We had about 75 kids. We usually have 350, but that was pre-COVID. And now we're building back up. Last year we only had 19 statewide. So this year we had 75, getting back. Yep. But Bob was actually honored at this year's conference with an award for his 20-plus years of support of youth in government. So just want to thank him publicly as well for that. But thank you for always being there, for taking the time and coming to lunch with our students, and they really got a lot out of that experience. So thank you.
Well, selfishly, I go because, as you know, I used to work at the State House many moons ago. And, I used to eat. I was not the healthiest of eaters back in my late 20s. And if you've ever been to the State House diner, it's a nice greasy spoon, and they have the best grilled cheese sandwiches around.
The best.
I usually go just to scarf down and grilled cheese.
Sorry that I took you to a nice restaurant.
Where?
Worked in the Senate at the same time, right? Yeah, it's incredible. Okay, Dr. Martin.
All right, so...
Wow, you got the best microphone in the house.
I think I'll put it way over there. So last week at Pre-K to 12 Leadership, we had Mike Woodlock from Novak Education work with our leadership team around universal design for learning. He showed clips of lessons, the leaders discussed strategies they saw, and then we are hoping to have Katie Novak herself follow up with our elementary leadership team this probably in May. So looking forward to that. As part of our grant, I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, we received a grant for the continued implementation of Bridges Math at elementary, which we saw in action over at South River. We had a consultant who spent 2 days observing classrooms in all 5 of our elementary schools, and then she also met with our elementary math council as part of this landscape analysis, and she could not believe that we were in only year 1 of implementation. She said she walked into classrooms, she saw it being taught, she saw pieces of it everywhere. So that was good news. Now we're providing her some data around scheduling, leadership structures, and we hope to have this final report by the end of April so we can start spending that money on professional development and planning for next year. So that was good news. And then for the next 2 days, I am attending a conference with Amy McAlpine, Megan Molander, and then our 3 coaches at the elementary level to kind of talk about what's going well with our coaching program, how can we grow it, and what might it look like in the future. So we are spending 2 days at a conference, just kind of diving into that discussion. So we're looking forward to that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Martin. Ms. Scalaro.
I do not have any.
Thank you very much. Mr. Miller.
I that is touchy.
You don't need a microphone. Here.
A couple agenda items, but the one other quick update is 255 Furnace Street. If you've driven by, you see a lot of earthwork being done. That's to prevent the moisture from getting into the back of the building. Mm-hmm. So in the back of the building, there's a lot of digging there as well. The architect has been there, working with Courtney Coots, the director, in getting that building up to speed to where it needs to go. Not a whole lot of work required, obviously, from looking at the photos, but there's things here and there that need to be done. So we're on pace to open that building in September.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Any subcommittee reports at this time? Okay, seeing none, we've reached the point of the meeting for public participation. Any member of the public is welcome to approach and address the committee if they so wish. Seeing none, we've reached the point of the meeting for the MEA update. We'll recognize MEA President Mrs. Sally Marples.
Sarah Marples, President of the Marshfield Education Association. I want to thank you, Bridget, for the service you've given to the students and to the education system in Marshfield for the past 6 years. I had the pleasure of being on some of the negotiation teams till you wised up and stopped volunteering, and also going through the throes of COVID and trying to deal with that and keep our students and our faculty and all our employees safe. And I know what a difficult time that was. So you deserve your rest. I hope you're going to do something exciting. And I know you'll still be out there being a cheerleader for the Marshfield Public School District, which you have served so well for the past 6 years. So thank you so much. You're really appreciated. I really don't have much other than that, except to apologize, because I have to go to another meeting to get trained for my church services. Don't ask. But I did want to make sure I came and thanked you, and also to just make a quick comment. I know it's going to be very difficult as you move forward with contemplating changes in the schedule and charging for busing, because it's not something that this community has had to do in the past. We are probably one of the few holdouts in the state of Massachusetts where there's not some kind of charge for that service. However, as an educator, and hopefully many of our parents will realize the long days we have for elementary school children, even though it's not any longer than the early schools and the late schools, getting out at 3:30, 3:45 in the afternoon is not healthy for anybody. And it really makes it difficult to do any kind of cohesive or collaborative training across the system, which has become more and more vital in these days, because it's not the same school you went to when you were young. It's not even the same school you probably graduated from 10 years ago. Education is constantly changing, and being able to work together to get the training and make sure we provide everything for every student is becoming more and more of a challenge. So I hope the community of Marshfield understands the necessity for that, and I hope we can move forward in a constructive way for everybody. So thank you for your attention, and have a wonderful vacation. It's almost vacation week.
Almost
Please,
here.
everybody enjoy, rest and relax, and do something fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Okay, I'm going to move some things around on the agenda tonight, folks. I'm going to take the new business first with the school choice, and this will be it's always a quick vote unless anybody has anything they'd like to say on it. I'd like to remind folks that the way we usually do this is we take a motion, and when a motion is made, it has to be in the affirmative. So the motion would be to make Marshfield Public Schools a school choice community. And then you can vote thereafter. I know for the last however many years, Marshfield has voted not to be a school choice community. But so the chair would recognize a motion on the floor if there's one at this time. So moved to make Marshfield a school choice community. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. All those opposed? Nay? Abstaining? That's a 0-3-0, Mrs. Pazerski. Thank you very much. I'm going to take the update on the principal search committees next, and I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Granatino.
Sure. So we have two searches, as we've talked about for a few months now, going on. And at the high school search, we did have two finalists that met with our community over the last few weeks, both strong candidates, one of whom ended up taking a position as a superintendent in another district. And I just felt after going through the hearings, not the hearings, but the focus groups with staff and students and parents and leadership, that we would be best served to reopen the search process at the high school. I had shared this with our community last week. And again, we had two good finalists. Our search committee did a fantastic job with the bringing in the. Originally, they had 7 scheduled interviews. One of those candidates ended up getting a principalship elsewhere, so they interviewed 6, gave me 2 finalists, and it just didn't work out the way we had hoped. And so we reopened it. The posting is going to be open through April 27th, I believe, that Thursday after we get back from break. And we haven't made final decisions on the makeup of the team, but there's a good chance we'll have many of the same folks as part of the team because they know the process and they know what we were looking for originally. So, but we'll have that finalized soon, and we already have a handful of candidates who've applied, and I'm sure we'll get a few more between now and the 27th, and then we'll go through that. We want to have the best person running in the high school, though, and it's obviously hard after someone who's been here for 20 some odd years. Running the building a certain way, people become familiar with that and feel comfortable and safe and secure. And so anything new is going to be a little different. And we just want to make sure that we really get that best person that we can in there. So on the Ames Way front, Mr. Campion's position, we're in the midst of our interviews. Ms. Hubbard, who runs that search committee, has a great team working with her as well. Ms. Scalaro's on that group. Ms. Stetson's on the team as well. They had a chance to meet with 3 candidates the other day, and they're going to be meeting with 3 more on Thursday. And again, we're very excited about the folks that they're bringing in. A similar process. They'll be hopefully bringing forward a few finalists to me, and we'll open that up to forums or focus groups with the Ames Way community as well. And we want to make sure that we fill those very big shoes that Mr. Campion left behind with the best possible candidate for that position. So it's exciting. It's a lot of work, and again, at the high school level, if we, it would have been nice to just name someone, but again, we wanted to do it right. And I'll wait, and I think everyone wants to do it the right way and the patient way, and make sure that we find that good match. So we're excited for that, and we'll have more to report probably after the school committee, after the town meeting.
Great. I just want to say really quickly on that, I appreciate the decision you made and the thought that went into it. I think it was the right decision. And I also want to say, with Dr. Martin, who did a fantastic job chairing our search committee, and a committee I was happy to be a part of, with a really great group of people and a lot of good applicants. So I look forward to doing it again and finding the right candidate, and I know we'll have a good group to do that. So looking forward to that process once more. Okay, we're going to move on now to the 2024 to 2025 academic calendar. This is a second read. I'll turn it over to you very briefly, Mr. Granatino, and then we can have any questions that the committee may have.
All right. So we went through this before. I didn't get any questions in the interim from anybody as far as informational questions, but obviously I think we talked about a few pieces that the committee might want to act on. The draft that we have, as we talked about, is straightforward. This is the first year, 24-25, that will be starting after Labor Day. So the school year is going to end a little later right now. The last day is June 17th. If there were no snow days. And the only area that there was some discussion that we had last meeting was around the Christmas holiday, December break. Right now we have a half day scheduled in our draft on the 23rd, because typically the day before Christmas Eve we will do a half day. But the discussion came up about that's a Monday, so opening the school for a half day on that Monday as opposed to just having that whole week off. All that does, if we turn that into a part of the break on the 23rd, the simple equation is that our last day of school will now be the 18th as opposed to the 17th. And then we would be coming back June 2nd. I don't think there was a whole lot of discussion on that. It will be a shortened week, but a Thursday, Friday is not abnormal to come back with a few days left in the week. Everything else is straightforward throughout the calendar. We have the half day before Thanksgiving, which is typical. everything else is status quo. If we were to go late that year, beyond the 17th, if we had a couple snow days, Juneteenth would figure into the equation for the first time, since that's become a national holiday, but that's fine, we can work around that. There would obviously be no school if we did extend the school year past the 18th. So.
Great. Any questions from folks? So if we did choose here to take the 23rd and eliminate that as a school day,
Yep.
because to be completely honest, this has nothing to do with our teachers or anything
No,
like
no.
that, our educators. I'm not sure how much learning will be getting done that day, and half day, with 1 day before Christmas break, holiday break. So, if we'd like to amend that, I would put that amendment on the floor if there was a motion to make that amendment to change the last day of school to the 18th and get rid of the 23rd.
I don't.
You won't be here?
No, but first of all, I don't think you need to make an amendment because it's not something that's been passed. This is just a working copy. This is a draft that we're presenting to you. So you can sit there and just kind of verbally edit it and say, we'd like to, have that be a part of the holiday.
And the motion would be to approve the calendar as changed.
Yeah.
Looking for the committee's consent on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Pazurski had a quick.
That Friday would be a half day.
Elementary, right. So it's a little different than normal, but I think the concern was that folks are kind of planning their Wednesdays around those early releases to have it be different on that first day. It's only 1 day and they have lots of time to plan, but it still would set a bit of a confusing tone to start. And I think the feeling we got from the elementary folks was that having an early release on that first day isn't the worst of all things. They're kind of introducing them to the school that day. We do that at the high school for our students so that the freshmen can have the full day to kind of learn the schools inside and out without a full 1,200 students. So I think that we're comfortable with that first day for students because, again, the Tuesday after Labor Day would be for staff. That Wednesday would be the first day for students, but it would be an early release.
Any other questions or comments on the school calendar? If the committee would like to consent to the change as suggested.
And to Mr., I know he's not here, but Mr. Greer brought up the good point as well that opening the building for a day in the middle of the winter, sometimes, there's extra heating costs and that are incurred for 1 half day might not be the best bang for the buck.
Right. Agreed. Okay, so is there a motion on the floor to approve the 2024-2025 academic calendar as changed on the floor? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Boyd. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Abstaining. That's a 3-0-0. Thank you.
So those people that book vacations well in advance, that first day of school in 2024 for students is going to be Wednesday, September 4th. Okay, for staff will be Tuesday, September 3rd.
Mr. Granatino will be on the beach.
Very likely. Hopefully catching a fish or two.
Okay, we've got 2 items left tonight, folks. We're going to start with Mr. Miller with the FY24 operating budget.
Sure. I did put a budget summary in the drive. It was earlier this morning, so I apologize for that. But just a quick recap of where we're at budget-wise for fiscal 24. Been spending some marathon sessions trying to get our accounting system up to snuff. Spent almost all day last Friday. It's still a work in progress, so we're in a little bit of a flux as to where we are for this fiscal year and hard budget numbers for next fiscal year. But in the summary, there's a few minor updates from where we were at in January. I've included a potential transportation fee, a revenue offset, and that's an agenda item coming up. Obviously, the regular transportation contract is higher than it was initially on the budget. What still remains is the special education out-of-district tuition, that 14% increase. We're getting closer to where that may be coming down, which will help us. And then the other item that is on here is in section 2 is staffing based on enrollment. We talked about earlier today at our PK to 5 leadership meeting where we are at as far as enrollment and potential classes for next fiscal year. Right now, this is a 4 classroom potential. And we happen to have 4 retirements as well at the elementary teacher level. So that would be a savings of about $260,000. It's all based upon the fact that right now, even with those changes, we're still looking at about a $650,000 deficit. So there's still a lot of work to be done. With all that being said, at $650, if the state comes through and that $350 disappears, now we're in the $300,000 range. And the plan would be to address that with some sort of circuit breaker offset. Obviously, that impacts 25 down the line and so forth. So right now, there's nothing from the financial plan, which I also put in the drive. So we're going to have some really tough discussions coming up. I would say probably about a month from now, and we'll get the budget subcommittee together there along with leadership to start looking at some of those hard numbers. Hopefully we'll have hard numbers in a format that we can all look at together. So, this evening we would look to have a vote of the 3% increase that's going to town meeting later this month. That 3% increase would give us a budget of $55,778,939. So that's what's in the warrant. Typically, this meeting or the meeting directly prior to town meeting, I don't think anything's going to change in the next couple of weeks. So I would ask the committee to approve that budget figure so we can go to town meeting with that number.
And just so you know, you may already know this House budget comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
So fingers crossed there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be, I think it's looking good as far as
it is, yes.
It's just the way it's going to operate has become a bit of a discussion.
Right.
So make it hard on us.
Any questions on the budget FY24?
No question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I know you know this already, but there's a lot of classes that are like teetering on this, like 22, 23, particularly at Martinson, we get kids coming to go and
Yeah, and so where we're at right now, it's the kindergarten enrollment too as well. It's playing a big piece of that equation. So right now we have 3 schools that would have 1 less kindergarten classroom and then 1 school that would have 1 more. But those 3 that are projected to be less over the next month or so could swing. Right. And that is going to impact what we have 1st through 5th. So again, hopefully in about a month or so, we can start to make those calls. We were talking with the elementary principals today, and they're anxious to get started and know where people are going because we have 3 retirements at Ames Way, and those positions are going to need to be filled internally. So it means moving staff around, and we want to let the staff know as soon as possible when those changes occur. And you're right about the 22-20. There's a 24-25 in there as well. So. Yeah, and it's those little short, it's right on that fringe in a lot of places. So the longer, it's the push and pull. It's the longer we can wait, the better we're going to be for our students and for our classrooms. But then we also have to make those decisions as soon as we can for our staff and for our assignments and all that. So we're going to hold out as long as possible.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, is there a motion to approve the FY24 budget of $55,778,939? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Boyd. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 300 there. Mrs. Pazerski. I did just hear from Mr. Greer that he is 2 minutes away. So if it's okay with folks, I'm going to take just a very brief 2-minute, 3-minute recess so he can vote on this last item.
we didn't have anything else. Yeah, I think that was kind of blasted out. Don't worry about it.
Happens to the best of us. Definitely happens to me disproportionately. So this is a second read, so
Yeah.
any questions? I think Rich is probably upstairs right now.
I love that.
I asked him about a week. He texted me, I texted him, I said, please send me, you can do this, please send it to me on Monday. He said, sure, you're also sure, oh, I was like, yeah, that definitely do this. And it's 2 days ago, she was like, ready to go. And, teaching, some everything, really, I want to do this, I want to do this, oh, do that. You were actually with? Yes, we just took a couple of recess after the last night.
It's about to start the last piece, and then you said you're coming to this week.
So we did everything. Great.
I'm on the school. I'm shocked. We've known each other for about 10 years. Actually live across the street. The old time I see you. That's true. I did see Catherine on Easter.
I saw her in the front yard on Easter. If she was confused why somebody was beeping at her and waving, that was me. Okay, so we have Mr. Greer here with us, and I'll come back from this recess and hand it on over to you, Mr. Miller, for our last agenda item, which is the transportation fee proposal, in a second reading.
So I'm not going to go through the whole presentation. The presentation was given to the committee at our last meeting. But just a quick recap. Once again, I'd like to thank the working group committee that put the work together over a year's worth of time. Obviously, the vote just this evening would be the vote of the committee to introduce a bus transportation fee of $180 per student in the first 2-week period, which would increase to $230 per student in the second 2-week period, and with a family cap of $360 to start and $360 and $460. After that, 2 students per family maximum. That's the only vote we're taking this evening, but just again to recap, the primary focus of instituting the fee is to maximize our bus transportation with efficiency, and which would allow us to potentially move our secondary start times to a later start time, as well as bring our 5 elementary schools together on the same tier, the same start and end time. So those are the 2 primary purposes of the fee. Additionally, as I mentioned in the budget, our contract did come in higher than anticipated, so any revenue generated from a fee would go directly to offset that increase, which will help us on many other aspects of our budget. Again, just a quick recap of, free and reduced students cannot be charged. The only students that can be charged are kindergarten through grade 6 within 2 miles and grade 7 through 12. So Again, so it's going to be a lot of work over the next few weeks. We anticipate on getting a registration system up in Aspen for May 1st. So that's basically the recap. If anybody has any questions, anything I didn't address, be happy to take your questions.
Great. Any questions or comments from the committee? Again, I know this is a second read, but if you've had some questions over the last couple of weeks.
I just have more questions. If we move forward with the fee proposal, what would the timeline be in terms of when we will start discussing the actual start time?
So what we're looking at would be a May 1st to May 30th registration, and we're going to have to get the word out to all our families. And then on May 30th, it'll get locked, so we have the data to be able to work directly with Topman on reorganizing our routes. So right now we have 28 routes at the elementary level. Discussing with Cheyenne and Martha, we can probably get away with 20 routes next year. So if you think about condensing 8 routes across 5 schools, for example, Martinston has 8 routes currently. They might have 5 next year. More students on each bus. We will have a little bit longer time on the routes, but we should be able to start. The goal would be, I don't know what date that meeting is in June. Is it June 12th? June 13th. Nope, not June 13th. That's June 6th could be quick. But what we'll have, it won't be June 6th. We're gonna have to get the committee back together, make some decisions, and then bring it forward to the school committee. Probably June 20th.
Okay.
That would be the goal, to have a vote of the committee on June 20th for new start times, if everything comes to fruition.
That's great. Good question. Any other questions, comments? Before we vote on it, I really quickly just want to echo what you said and thank the people who worked on this. Thank yourself, Mr. Granatino, Mr. Hoey back there for all your help and assistance on that committee. Mr. Greer, thank you. Ms. Brait, and just everybody who was a part of that committee. That's a lot of work, so we appreciate it. And it's a really important topic. It might not be the most popular topic to discuss, but it's definitely an important one. So seeing no more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion on the floor to approve the transportation fees. Is there such a motion? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Boyd. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's a 4-0-0 there, Mrs. Pazurski. Thank you very much. Okay, that is our last order of business. Our next meeting is directly prior to town meeting, which is in 2 short weeks on April 24th. Looking forward to that. And for an adjournment of tonight's meeting, I'll ask Ms. Boyd if you have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved from Ms. Boyd. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. We'll do a roll call there. Mrs. Pazurski. Yes. Thank you very much, folks, and thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Thanks.